Hi everybody. Are you struggling with the Nvidia Shield TV Pro settings or the Geforce app settings on that said device? Then if you are, stay tuned. I may be able to help you out. So what you need to do is when you've got your Nvidia Shield Pro set up or started, we need to go to the settings icon, which is in the top right corner, the usual little cog symbol there, and we'll give that a press. And immediately you'll see we've got some quick settings here. So what we have is sleep now, so that's basically going to be the same as pressing your button on the remote control. And just a quick word about that, it does only put it to sleep, it doesn't actually turn the device off, so just bear that in mind. Next we've got reboot, so if you do have any software issues, any freezing up of apps or anything like that, you can just reboot your device from there and hopefully that will sort out the problem. And then we've got AI upscaling, which is basically to do with the video graphics. So as you can see there, you've got AI enhanced, and then you've got standard enhanced and basic. So I think what that's doing there is it's just kind of sharpening the pictures a little bit that you are seeing on your TV. I don't know particularly the difference in AI and enhanced. Perhaps somebody else might know a little bit more than me on that one. I just tend to stick it on AI enhanced and leave it at that. You've then got detail enhancement, which deals more specifically with the detail of the picture, obviously. So I tend to leave that on medium. I don't want to over sharpen the picture because it can look a little bit false, so I've just left that on the default medium setting. And then further down we've got GeForce Now upscaling, so if you've got any 1080p games that you're playing and you want to just upscale that picture a little bit, that will have some effect. Whether you notice it or not is another matter, but that's what that's there for. You can either turn that on or off. And then you've got demo mode down at the bottom, which is probably what you'd use if you were demoing it in a shop or something like that. So I've got that turned off. And the next one further down is network and internet. I'm not going to go into that. I mean, it's basically you either have it connected via Wi-Fi or Ethernet. Ethernet's better because you will get a more stable network feed or internet feed. But obviously, if you have to have it on Wi-Fi, then that's your only option, then do so. But if you can have 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, it's much better than the 2.4 gigahertz. So excuse me, try and have it on at least 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi if it has to be Wi-Fi at all. I've got mine connected via an Ethernet cable. We've then got device preferences, so we've got about, and we've got system upgrade. So if you want to do a manual update of the system, then you can have a look in there. We've got the device name, which you can change if you want. I've just left mine at Shield. You've then got reboot again. You've now got power off, so if you did want to totally power off your device, then this is where you would do it in here. And then we've got basically the status of various things within the device, if you wanted to have a look at that. Legal information, privacy policy, send feedback to Nvidia, so you can send some feedback on anything that's causing you a bit of an issue. You've then got the model and the model number and the version, everything else like that. Android security patch because it's an Android device. And then we have the kernel version and the build and the Shield Android TV SW version, whatever that is. So in the build, by the way, much like a phone, if you press this a number of times, if you press or select it a number of times in quick succession, you will go into developer mode. So if I just do this now, I'm just pressing the button a number of times, you'll see that I get that message up. It's saying no need, you are already a developer, because I've done that before. But if you wanted to have a look at the developer options, then that's how you go about about it. Now, just a word of warning about going into the developer options. You do so at your own risk. I will not be held responsible for anything that you do in that setting, because there's lots of things in there that, I mean, I don't understand most of it, if I'm honest. I'm not that much of a tech geek, but it is there and available for you if you wanted to go into it and have a mess about. But as I said, be warned. So back out of that, and we go down to display and sound. Excuse me. So you've got resolution first of all. Obviously, this is going to be dependent on what device you're watching stuff on. So you've got 4K at 59 Hertz, HDR10 ready, and then 4K 60 Hz HDR10 ready. I've got mine set to 59 Hz Dolby Vision and HDR10 because my telly is capable of that. But it all again depends on what type of TV you've got, monitor, whatever you're looking at. So choose whichever is the most appropriate for your setup. You can choose to have Dolby Vision selected on or off if you've got the option of having that coming through, say, a surround system or something like that. Sorry, not I'm thinking of Dolby Surround, aren't I? Dolby Vision. If your TV is capable or monitor is capable of displaying Dolby Vision, then have that selected. AI upscaling. Again, it's back to that same screen we had before, really. So we've already covered that one. Power control, so you can choose to have various options in here. So like for example, turn on TV when Shield wakes, so it will automatically turn on your TV when you turn on your Nvidia Shield. And you've got various other options down there, so if you want to have a play around with that, then feel free to do so. I've got mine set to that one, set TV input to Shield, so every time I turn on the Nvidia Shield, it will set the TV to that particular input so that I can view it. So that's all the options in there. Next one is advanced display settings. So you've got match content color space. So you may have certain content that you're watching that's been rendered in certain color space. How can I put it? It's been rendered in a particular color space. So you've got Rec 2020 and you've got Rec 709. Now I do believe that the Rec 709 is the older version and the Rec 2020 is the newer version. I'm taking it that just leaving it off, it will display it in the latest version, which is 2020. But if you did want the color space to be in the Rec 709 at all, then obviously switch it over to that particular one. If we come down, we've got custom display mode. So it's currently displaying what the current display mode is and what's been selected on the previous one. You can set it to default if you like. You can filter by resolution, filter by refresh rate, filter by color space, and you've got different display modes as well. And if we go in there, you can see all the different types of display modes, which is basically it's a mixture of the rec color space, which we talked about, and resolution and FPS, which it seems to be, yeah. So that basically you can choose the whole lot all at once. Looking at that, really, isn't it? So come out of that one, and we're down to automatic game mode. So this will automatically switch your TV to game mode if your TV has a game mode. My TV has, so I've got that turned on. And game mode, for anybody that doesn't know, will obviously, well, not obviously if you don't know, but it will give you less latency. So when you're using your controller, there'll be less latency in that input to what you're seeing on the screen. So it tends to sort of knock a lot of the AI display settings out of your picture because a lot of them can increase the latency. So it tends to get rid of a lot of those and just gives you a standard picture. But it is better because, as I said, it gives you less latency with your inputs, and there's nothing more annoying than playing games where you're pressing a button and then a second later something happens. You want it happening straight away. So that's what automatic game mode is. Customized game mode app list. So you can go into there and you can actually choose which apps it will select game mode. So as you can see, they've got AntStream, which is a retro gaming app, and then Boosteroid TV, which is another streaming app, and Duo, which is Google Duo, and then you've got Google Play Games and Nvidia Games, which will be Geforce. So, but you can choose any of the others as well if you want to have the game mode automatically selected. And then we've got display HDR content. So if you, again, if your TV is capable of displaying HDR or your monitor, then switch that to on. And then you've got adjust for overscan. So what this is it's much like on the PlayStation and Xbox, where you can set up the screen. If your screen's not fully covering your TV, or if the picture, I should say, is not fully covering the display size of your device, your TV or monitor, then you can adjust it there. And you just get the points of the arrows on the edge of the actual area of the display. So that's that one there. And the next one down, night listening mode. So night listening mode is if you've got, say, children in bed at night time and you don't want to be, you want your surround sound on, say, for example, and you don't want it to be too punchy, it will tend to sort of dumb down the bass and treble tones, so the highs and the lows, just so that they're a little bit less punchy. So you can still have it on at a reasonable volume, but the children or whoever else we don't want to be disturbed is not going to be disturbed, basically. So, or as much. And then you've then got volume control. So you've got various settings in here. Now CEC is basically, it's that type of setting that you have on most TVs, where, in fact, we touched upon it earlier, where you can choose to have your TV turn various devices on, or vice versa, or select a particular input on your TV. I don't tend to use it an awful lot. I tend to find it's more annoying than anything, to be honest, so I tend to keep it turned off. But if you did want it on, that's where you would turn it on. And then you've got HDMI fixed volume. I think that basically just keeps the volume the same throughout your devices, and USB fixed volume. And then you've got when adjusting volume with voice. Oh yeah, so because it's got voice control on this device, it will increase the increment. Increase the volume in increments of 1. And then you've got lower volume when listening. So when talking to the assistant, the volume on the control TV or speaker will reduce so the assistant can hear you. So no, I don't tend to use the assistant, so I haven't got that turned on. And then you can set up IR as well. So it says there, select the device that outputs sound from the shield. So you can set up your infrared to control that device as well there. And then we've got system sound. So that's that clicking sound you can hear there. So you can either choose to, if I turn that off, I'll just show you. So now there's no click there, but I do tend to kind of like it on, really. And advanced sound settings, so you've got audio output, and now you can choose auto, HDMI, and in this case it's my SteelSeries Arctis 7P Plus, which is what I'm talking to you on now. Now the Nvidia Shield Pro TV can accept most USB headsets, to be honest. It's got 2 USB ports on the back of it, and in one USB port I have an external USB drive, and in the other one I have my headset. And you can select it regarding the sound to auto select. I found using it that it doesn't particularly work that well. So I tend not to use auto. It doesn't. Let's say I've had it set on the HDMI to hear the sound coming through my TV. If I then turn on my headset, it doesn't automatically switch to my headset. So it's not. I don't know whether I'm doing something wrong or whether it's the software, but it just doesn't seem to work that well. So I just leave it on a manual selection. If I'm using my headset, I will select that, and if I'm using my TV, I will select the HDMI, and I just leave it at that. And then you can connect different devices onto the Nvidia Shield Bluetooth devices. Like, for example, I've got a Bluetooth keyboard here. So if I wake my keyboard up, And if I just move my touch screen, you can see that I've now got a mouse on there. So you can use a keyboard with the Nvidia Shield. So that's what those are the various devices are. And then I've got wireless controller further down, which I can't scroll down to highlight them actually, but the first one's my keyboard, the second one's a wireless controller. So I do tend to use an Xbox controller with this device for playing games, and all the devices that you've paired using Bluetooth will be listed down there, and then they'll just automatically pair again when you turn them on. Well, not pair again, they'll automatically connect when you turn them on, so it doesn't forget them. Moving down, we've got audio video sync. If you're using a DAC receiver, please use this option to synchronize AV streams. So that's basically, I think that's talking about lip sync. So you know, sometimes when the actor's voice, perhaps, or the movement of the mouth is slightly ahead or behind the sound that you're hearing, or the words that you're hearing, then that's where you would adjust it. If you have a quick look in that, and you can just move that them arrows at the bottom, left or right, to adjust that, and you're basically trying to time the bounce of the ball with the sound that you hear. I'll just back out of that, don't need to do anything with that. USB audio mode, you can select different modes. You can have high quality stereo or surround sound. I tend to just listen to this through my headset or the TV, so I've just got it selected to stereo, but obviously you choose a different setting if you're listening on another device. Match content audio resolution. Not really sure what this means. Preserve audio bit depth and sampling rate over HDMI. As I said, I'm not that much of a techie. I like my tech, but I'm not that deep into all this, mainly because I've never used it. So I've never felt the need to use it. So if anybody again wants to comment, then please leave a comment. Match Dolby PCM audio levels, so reduce PCM volume to match Dolby reference. Yet again, not fully understanding what that means, but again, somebody could comment on it if you like. Play comfort noise on HDMI, so use this option to disable playback of inaudible comfort noise on HDMI when no audio is present. I don't know, I'm guessing a little bit, but I would imagine that kind of, you know, the kind of hiss that you get when you disconnect, or when your audio feed stops, and you'll get like a bit of a hiss coming through your speakers. I think that probably reduces that to some degree, but I don't know. As I said, I'm only guessing. Display volume control warning, so show pop-up notification when system volume control is unavailable, so you can have that turned on or off. Dolby audio processing, so you can, if you've got the Dolby audio facility, like through a surround sound system or anything like that, you can choose to have that on or off. Select formats, use the formats that your device reports supporting. Recommended, so if we go into that, you've got all these various options here. To be honest, I've never used it, but you can have a browse through it if you like, if you want to try the different settings. I've just left it on the auto setting. And then stereo upmix stereo streams to 5.1 PCM, so it'll be like a kind of pseudo surround, won't it? So that's what that option is. I've just left that off. And then we've got HDMI CEC enable, so this is going back to that CEC again. So I've got it where when I as I said before, when I select a particular input on my TV, it will automatically turn on the Nvidia Shield Pro. So that's what that one is. So we're going to system, we've got customized quick settings, so you can select what you want in the quick settings part of the settings, which we looked at earlier. I'll just back out of that just to show you what I mean. So it's is it in there? I can't remember where they are now. Let's go back in. Oh, there we go. There's a quick settings. So yeah, so in that option we were just looking at, you can select what you want to be shown in this particular section. Okay, so let's go back into that. And then we've got Nvidia Share. Do you want Nvidia Share on? Now I'll talk about Nvidia Share in a little while. It's basically where you can stream stuff or record stuff from your Nvidia device. But we'll have a look at that in a short while. We've got LED brightness, so there's a little LED strip on top of the Nvidia Shield, and you can select what sort of level of brightness you want that LED to be at, or you can turn it off altogether if you like. If you just have a look in there, you've got 4 settings. And then processor mode, so this is the processor of the device itself, so you can choose maximum performance or just leave it on optimized. I've just got it on optimized. And then you've got fan mode, so depending on how hard you work in your device, you can have it on quiet or cool. I'm assuming because they've called one quiet and one cool, that if you have it on cool, it will be less quiet. So that's that one. USB mode, auto recommended, or you've got maximum performance or compatibility mode. So if you're having issues with the auto, try selecting one of the others. If you've got perhaps an older USB device, you might want to select compatibility mode, for example, just to see if you can get it to work okay. And then we've got USB port power. So you can either choose to have, you've got 2 USB ports on your Nvidia Shield Pro TV, and you can choose to have the power either on when it's on sleep or off. Now I choose off because I've got devices, as I said earlier, I've got my headset connected to it and an external hard drive. Now I don't need the power on for those devices when I'm not using the device. However, if you've got, say, a keyboard attached to it that you use to wake up the device, for example, then you might want to keep the USB port on while it's sleeping, and then you can wake up the device with that said keyboard. So, but you've got the choice there. You can either turn it always on or off during sleep. So that's that one. Storage. So if we go into that, we can see that I've got well, I've got the 12 gigabyte device. I think is there a larger one? Can't remember, but my device is 12 gigabytes. Not an awful lot, really. I mean, if you go back a decade, it would be a lot, but it's not a lot by today's standards. So I've got, as I said, an external USB drive plugged in. Now, you've got 2 choices when you plug an external drive in, and it can be an external hard drive or it can be a stick, a USB stick, whichever. Although I do think that Nvidia do recommend a hard drive now. I think they got a bit concerned at one point that USB sticks were tending to overheat a little bit in the back of the device. So they now recommend that you have a hard drive. Or let's say they stopped recommending USB sticks. But now I have used a USB stick and I've not noticed it to be a massive problem. I've not noticed it getting particularly hot, but I think it was just a kind of a safety thing that they decided not to recommend them anymore. But yeah, you can choose to have the hard drive either as external storage in the sense that you can transfer things, let's say photos, videos, things like that, onto that device, and then take that device out and plug it into your PC to get those items off, the photos or the video. Or the other option, and it will prompt you when you plug your device in, is to actually use it as extra storage on the device. So it basically becomes an extension of the device's storage. So that's what I've got it set at to enable me to record all my videos for YouTube. So that's what that setting's for. And you've then got scan for media automatically. So as soon as you plug a USB storage device in, it will automatically scan for it. You've got the option to transfer files to a computer using USB, so you can turn that on. Transfer files over local network, so you can actually connect the device to a local network. So if that's the case, then you would turn that option on. And mount network storage, so that's another option there for you as well with regards to your home network. So on to the next one, home screen. So we can customize the channels that are on the home screen. You just go into here and you turn them either on or off. That will list all the apps that you've got on your device, and you can turn them on or off depending on what you want to see on your home screen. That's just grayed out a little bit on the left of the picture there. You can enable video previews and enable audio previews. Now I don't tend to have this set on. It annoys me a little bit when you're browsing around, and every time you flick onto an app, you've got a moving video and sound coming out of it and everything. It's just, to me, it's annoying. So I tend to turn both those off, but you've got the choice. So we've then got reorder apps. So if we're going to reorder apps, you can actually reorder where you want your apps to show up on your home screen. And it's kicked us out of that, so we'll have to go back in. On the home screen, weren't we? So back down to reorder apps. You can reorder games as well, much the same process. I'll not do it because I don't want it to kick me back out of the settings again. And then open source licenses, well, that's just licenses for various things. We don't need to bother with that. And keyboard, so you've got a virtual keyboard on the system, much like a phone, and or other TV apps which give you like a virtual keyboard, and you have to select using your remote control. But you can also connect other devices as well. So you've got managed keyboards there, physical keyboard, etc. So you can manage all those in that area there. You can then change your date and time. You can change the language, so lots of different languages to choose from. I'll not bother going into them. You've got Google Assistant on this device, so you can manage your Google Assistant there. You can choose to have a screensaver if you want, energy saver if you want, choose to set your location. Then you've got usage and diagnostics if you're having any issues. You've got Chromecast, so you can Chromecast things to and from this device. And then you've got accessibility, so if you're going to here, we can click on that, and you've got display captions or not display captions. So you can have the language being default. You can change the text size. I've got it set to normal there, and you can change the colours. So if you struggle seeing different colours on different colour backgrounds, then you can change to different colour combinations there to be able to see it a little bit more clearly. And there was something else I was going to show in here, and I can't remember what it was. No, I can't remember where that was actually. I'm going to turn that back off because I don't want captions on. This was it. High contrast text. So if you notice the white text on the black background on the headings, well, all over actually, it just seems to be a little bit more clearer. It's a little bit higher contrast, and it's just a little bit easier to see it. So you can turn that on or off. You can have text to speech. You've got accessibility shortcut, so you can choose to have shortcuts if you like. Enable accessibility shortcut, which to be honest I'm not bothered about, so I'll turn that off. Then you've got services, you've got talkback and switch access as well. So you've got factory reset, so if you're having massive problems with the device, or if you want to sell your device on to somebody else or give it to somebody else, then you can factory reset it there. And then here is where we've got developer options. So you remember when we pressed a number of times on the build section and it come up with that message saying developer options, then this is where you go into it and you can mess around with these. I mean, you can enable developer options or not. That's entirely up to you. As I said, anything you do in here, be extremely careful, please. Do not mess about with these things if you don't know what you are messing about with, because you can totally mess your device up. So only mess about with them if you know what you're doing. I've not really done anything in here, if I'm honest. I was interested to see what was in here, but I've not really done a lot. So I'm not going to mess with anything, and I will just come out. So let's come out of there. And that's it for the device preferences. You've then got remotes and accessories, so you can manage all your remotes and accessories in there. So you've got Shield accessories. You can add a Bluetooth accessory, or you can disconnect your Bluetooth accessories, and you've got everything in there. That whatever you've got connected to your device. And then you've got apps, so you can look at what apps you've got installed on there and everything. And then you've got what accounts are actually on the device as well. So, oops, didn't want mean to come out of that. Well, I think is that it? Yeah, that's it actually. So we've covered everything in the settings. So hopefully that's all been helpful for you. So just moving on from that, just a little bit more to show you. So I'm not actually going to go into this app because it does actually bring up my email address, which I don't really want broadcasting to the world. But yeah, this TV file commander. It's I could really recommend the app actually because what it allows you to do is directly transfer files over Wi-Fi to your PC or your phone, tablet, whatever, without you having to sort of mess about unplugging USB devices and plugging them back in and stuff like that. It will just transfer directly from here, from the Nvidia Shield Pro, over to whatever other device you want it to. And you just basically, it gives you an IP address, and you just type that IP address in your browser, and you can then browse basically all the files what's on your Nvidia Shield. So it's a really good app. Could well recommend that one. So moving on, let's go into Nvidia games then. So let's just have a quick look in here. And I'll just show you two of the settings that I've actually got set up in here. So go right to the bottom and we move across and we go to Geforce now. And I'll leave the membership, but the membership basically, well actually no, I will click on that because I need to get it synced up. And it takes just a short while, just bear with me a moment while it syncs up. It takes probably about 10 to 15 seconds to sort out. We'll know when it's synced up because the grayed out area at the bottom will suddenly light up. So there we go. So as I said, not going to go into that because it'll again show my email address off. We can test the network. Now I have mixed sort of results from this. Sometimes it says it's fine, sometimes it says I'm not. Now I'm actually on a 150 meg download and 20 meg upload, and it still says sometimes that it's not optimal for streaming. It has said it's fine today, so well, I very rarely do have any problems, if I'm honest, on GeForce now, especially on this device. Usually, I can't say 100%, but 95% of the time it's working absolutely fine. So, but obviously it will depend on your internet connection. I think possibly the minimum really to use the 3080 tier, which is what I'm on, which you can stream 4K 60 frames per second. I think the minimum is something like well, it actually tells you there, doesn't it? I was just having a bit of a guess there, but it tells you there required you need a bandwidth of 15, but recommended 75. And you know, if you've got 60 meg, I would say that you'd be okay. You're certainly going to be okay on the 1080 stream, to be honest. But I would say, in fact, actually, a mate of mine, he's got 60 meg, and he seems to be fine with it, to be honest. So you should be okay. But yeah, that shows you what I've got. Now, interestingly, although it says measured upwards of 75, if I come back out of that, I'll just show you quickly if I can find the app. I did download I don't know where it's gone now. I did download a speed test app, and unfortunately I cannot find it at the moment. So where's that gone? Let's go back to there. Let's have a look in here. Oh, there we go. That's the one, isn't it? So let's have a look at that. Let's just see what speeds it's actually giving me. So there you go. You see, I'm getting 148, 149 upload. Sorry, download, I should say. And we'll just just wait for that to finish. And where are we looking here? Oh yeah, sorry, that's there, isn't it? It's 26. Yeah, 26 upload. So 148 down and 26 up. So that's what I'm actually getting. So I don't know why the Nvidia test doesn't come up with the same. Don't really understand it, but anyway, it is as it is. So let's just quickly go back into those settings. So we're going to have to sync it back up again, aren't we? So again, just bear with me a moment. So if you've enjoyed the video, people, please subscribe to the channel. I'm usually doing gameplay videos actually, but this is the device that I normally do my streaming on. I'm a bit of an armchair gamer. I like to be sat in my front room and playing on my big screen TV. So if that's what you like to do, then this is the channel for you. But also, if you just like general gameplays of mainly Sims, but I do touch on other genres now and again as well, then please subscribe to the channel. I'm a new channel and I'm trying to grow it. So if you subscribe and like the video, it will really be appreciated. Thanks very much. So here we are. So yeah, we've done the network test. Service location, you can choose where you want that to come from. Stream quality. Now, if we go into here, you can see that you can actually choose what you want it to actually display at. So if you are on a slower internet, then you can choose a lower resolution if you like to help things along. You can choose to have HDR on or off. And you can also choose your maximum bit rate as well and adjust for poor network conditions. I've got that ticked. And you can choose to have different options for whether it's on Wi-Fi or the Ethernet as well. So that's all the settings in that section. In-game graphics settings. Now what this means is when you're playing a game, so if you're using Geforce now, if you don't know much about it, it's a game streaming service where you're basically renting a high performance PC off a company, in this case Nvidia, and that basically draws games down from a gaming site like Steam, for example, or Epic, or one of the other gaming stores, and it will stream the game from there and then stream it to your device and onto your TV. And it basically means that you don't have to have a high-powered device to play big games on, and performance games, because it's doing all the work for you. And I may do a video on the different options that we've got for game streaming, cloud gaming, in another video. But just for now, what this means is when you go into your game on Steam, let's just say Steam for example, you've got you've got settings within the game, and if you have this button here unselected or deselected, then what that means is, let's just say for example, if you changed it from 60 frames per second in the game graphics settings to 120 frames per second, and then you came out of the game, when you went back into it at another point, Nvidia would give you its default settings again, what it thinks are best. And in my experience, the default settings it gives you aren't always the best, if I'm honest. So I tend to set my own graphic settings up. But yeah, if you don't have this selected, this Save My Changes selected here, it will just go back to the default graphic settings. So if you want to save any of your graphic settings in the game, then make sure you have this selected before you play the game, and then next time you go into the game, it will or should have saved all your settings, all your graphic settings that you had set up. Okay, so that's what that one is for. And then last of all, we've got reset all gamepad warnings, so that basically speaks for itself. So yeah, that's just about it. I think we've covered everything. It's been a fair old video, but hopefully we got there. Hopefully I've helped anybody out with any of the settings. And as I said, just be careful if you go into the developer options. Just be very, very careful that you don't totally mess your device up. And yeah, I think that about wraps it up. So thank you very much for watching to the end of this video. And as I said, if you've liked what you've seen, please give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for gameplay videos mainly. And we will catch you on the next video. So thanks for watching and bye for now.